2, 3, 4. Good morning, my brothers and sisters, on this, our 90th episode of the Good Morning Guys podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we discuss the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and to play. I'm one of your hosts, the Brazilian Mountaineer and Transition Ninja, Lucas Ham Swisher. Also with us, the judge, jury, and executioner of Long John Silver's fake news and spoilers, Patrick Novosel.
Bumbleway Tuna.
On his left and my right, the volleyball and beast of the East who can make you laugh in 3 words or less, Ronnie Johantges.
Bumblebee Tuna.
And a Bumblebee Tuna to you. And our final member of the GMG Quadfecta, who's got music in his heart, Doctor Who on his brain, La Coretta in his estomago, and a room full of poker players behind him, Marc Boucher.
Bumblebee Tuna.
I just wanted to hear what your family was talking about. Sorry.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy belated Memorial Day to all of you. And a happy end of a 6-day weekend for me with my family.
6-day weekend.
That's not a weekend. Get out of here.
I mean, it went from Wednesday to Monday, and the weekend was there right in the middle. So I count it as a 6-day weekend. Prove me wrong. I don't think you can do it.
Change my mind.
Yeah, that's right. Change my mind. That's what I was looking for. Sorry, that's the Brazilian version, the Southern Hemisphere version. Prove me wrong. Sir, it's changed my mind. That's what I said. Woo. All right. So, guys, how in the world? Well, no, not how in the world. Before we say how in the world, let's say, first of all, on behalf of the hosts and the joiners of the GMG community, a big shout out and thanks and God's blessing to all those who have given their time and lives in military service for the U.S. of A. What a sacrifice they have made, along with their families as well. So, yeah, we owe so much to them. You know, besides God, I'm pretty sure we owe a bunch to those folks out there that have sacrificed so much over the years.
Yeah, for sure.
And
It's always weird to say Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, I mean, yes, I hope that people are taking this time to, as much as you can. I know we're still kind of in a pandemic and quarantine and all that. But spend time with family and all that kind of stuff. And it could be happy in that respect. But the day, the holiday in and of itself is very somber. It's very reflective. So, yeah, it's just me thinking out loud, I guess.
That's all good. It's true. It is it's a bittersweet kind of celebration. It's like, well, you know, I don't think the people that went out there and did what they did and sacrificed the way they sacrificed would want us just moping around. They would want us to celebrate their lives, celebrate their sacrifice, what they did. And, you know, and so, but along with that, like you said, the quarantine, which I think kind of lightened for you guys up north, and just in the nick of time of for Memorial Day weekend and Memorial Day itself.
Yep.
For us down here, well, there should be nothing lightening, even though I think here in a week or two they said they're going to start lightening up things, but our numbers are climbing. We're number 2 in the world in coronavirus cases.
We're number 2. We're number 2.
Yeah, we're number 2. Yeah. So we're Brazil's right up there with you guys. So isn't that special? But speaking of special, how was the special day of Memorial Day for you guys? What did you do? Let's start with Ronnie.
Ooh, all right. First to lead off.
That's right.
So,
bring us some good news.
So I actually went over to my mom and stepdad's house for the first time since this whole quarantine started. So it had been a couple months. Yeah, it had been a couple months since I've seen my mom. So it was really good to go over there and see. I told you guys they had a new puppy.
I was
gonna
say,
did you see me meet the new dog? Yeah, his name's Bear. He's a black lab, and he is a bruiser so far.
Nice.
He's real. He hasn't really grown into his body yet. He's real thick, so he's one of those. He's at that stage where if you're ever playing like with a dog or a puppy and you like push him back, like he has a stage where he comes back harder every time. Like, no matter how hard you push him, he's coming back full force.
It's like the Hulk.
Yeah, and he doesn't really stop. He just runs into you, right? He doesn't throw the brakes on. He just comes in as hard as he can. Like, my hands are all torn up. My hands are all torn up from him because he's got those little sharp puppy teeth, and playing rough with him is all the fun. But I finally got to meet him. A couple of my buddies came over. We played like some euchre.
Oh yeah,
and it was fun. It was a good time.
Nice.
So for everybody listening, we didn't do the podcast on Monday because I wasn't feeling well. I'm pretty sure that's because I drank everything there was to drink probably on Sunday. So,
oh goodness!
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yes.
Was Fireball involved?
Actually, it was mostly wine.
Oh, dude, that's gonna tear you.
Fine
up.
dining.
It tore me apart. So much so that, like, even yesterday, I was like, man, I'm really not even over this yet. Like, this is bad. This is bad. But no, it was really nice to go out and actually get over there to see them because I haven't been over there in forever. So and they have lightened things up. We are kind of trying to stick with the whole, 10 people. Still trying to keep about 6 feet, just to prevent anything. But for the most part, it has lightened up a little bit, so people can actually start going and doing things. We're gonna go out to dinner here in the next couple of days, and it's going to be the first time in 3 months that we've been able to like go out on a date, or anything that's just not at home. So it'll be nice. It is nice that they've lightened everything up a little bit.
Awesome.
Sweet, man. How about you, Mark?
Oh, I'm just kind of chilling out in a different location this week.
Yeah, you are.
So I am on my yearly vacation. We are at the Outer Banks in North Carolina.
Let's go ahead and mute Mark for the rest of the night.
What's that?
And muted.
Yeah, you'll quite possibly hear my family in the background playing poker in the other room. Which is, it's funny, I was telling Patrick before we recorded, I've got my family in the back, and there's like sort of a main seating area where they've got a poker table, so they're playing poker out there, and on the other side of the wall that I'm facing right now, which the room I'm in is the room that my wife and I have been sleeping in, and on the other side of the wall is like a fully decked out theater room with like a huge projection screen and all that fun stuff, and theater seats and surround sound. So you might occasionally hear like a boom of the bass because we're right up against the wall from the theater room.
Nice.
But this is the same house that we stayed in last year, which is an awesome house. My wife's grandparents, every year they rent a beach house and invite all the family to come and stay. And so thankfully a couple of weeks ago they actually opened up the Outer Banks for outside visitors to come, because up to a couple of weeks ago they were doing COVID-19 checkpoints, where if you were out of state or a visitor, they would check your ID, and if you weren't from the area, you couldn't come in.
Oh wow.
But they lifted those restrictions on the 16th of May. And so we were able to do it because we weren't sure if it was going to happen, but we were able to come, and so it's me and like 15 to 20 other people in a huge beach house. But it's been a great time, just relaxing with no agenda, nowhere that I have to be, other than like for food and stuff like that. You can take naps whenever you want to. I've been playing a lot of Apex, of course.
I thought you were about to say I've been playing a lot of naps.
Yes, I've been playing naps too. I love that game. My favorite game.
It's a good game.
Best game ever.
I like the part where you sleep. It's awesome.
I like the DLC, slobber on the pillow, and more naps.
Yep. Love it.
If you pre-order, you can sleep for 6 hours.
Oh, sweet.
You can get the full sleep time. But no, it's been a lot of fun. Just hanging out with the family, having a lot of great food, because they everything is home cooked. Well, it's cooked in a home. It's nothing we order out from. It's basically we buy a bunch of food to make different meals every night and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. That's part of the experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Get what everybody can
Last
make.
night we had a family worship night, which is always awesome. Usually I'm usually a part of that, helping lead, but this time I took on techie duties because basically my mother-in-law set up a lyrics presentation thing so that people could read the lyrics and sing along, and I just pushed the button. And so, but actually
the definition of tech is just pushing a button?
Quote unquote techie.
I don't know how this works. All you need to do is push a button. That's too much for me.
Yeah,
that's a generous title.
Ask any AV guy and they'll tell you all it is just to push a button.
Yeah, flip a switch.
You're good.
Switch flipper.
Senior
switch
flipper to you.
Yes. Presiding
Mr.
switch flipper.
Switch flipper.
No, it's been awesome. Like I said, been playing a lot of Apex. I'm really wanting to play because I have made the resolution that I am going to play The Last of Us Remastered.
Yes.
I'm going to give it one more time.
Let's
one
do
more
it.
try. The only problem is there are like six kids in this house.
Oh,
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, kids, come
And
up
they
by the
are-
fire. Let me tell you a story about blood and
Have
gore.
you ever heard of the tale of Joel and Ellie?
You can't play 15 minutes without. All right. Well, I guess this isn't for kids.
Have you heard of a clicker? Let me give you an example.
You're about to find out. So it's been kind of difficult to actually jump into it, but it's going to happen eventually. I'm hoping to get it knocked out before Part 2 comes out. Giving it one more try
Do it.
and see how it goes.
Cool.
So did you try it before and you
But,
didn't like it, or you just couldn't get into it?
I just didn't get into it and I kind of dropped off.
I got you.
And then, like many other games in my backlog, a little old game called Apex Legends came out and kind of just threw it all to the wayside.
Yeah.
The nerve.
What's that?
Yeah, some indie game. Nobody's heard of it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's been pretty much my week is just hanging out at the beach, and we're pretty much like literally a stone's throw away from the ocean.
Oh,
from the
stop
actual
bragging. Jeez.
Yeah, thanks, jerk.
Jerk.
Beach. Wish you were here, suckers.
Bold-faced lies.
Yeah, that's pretty much my week.
Sweet. Patrick, I hear
Hi.
you didn't just celebrate Memorial Day this past weekend. You celebrated something else.
Yeah. So we had our 12th anniversary
Whoa.
for the wife and I.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Selling that old... Selling? No, not selling. Celebrating that old dozen.
It's just selling it.
Selling that dozen.
You know what? But yeah, it was a little different this year because of the quarantine. So we weren't able to really go out anywhere. Weren't able to drop the kids off anywhere, kind of thing. So
You can just toss them out on the corner, tell them to go for a walk.
I was like,
for
Claire, why can't you be
5
like 2
hours.
years older, please?
Yeah.
Here's $20. Take your brother and get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Power Wheels is all charged.
Yeah. Go for a spin on me.
Yeah, so we didn't do too much for our anniversary this go around. But what we did is there's a local ice cream shop where Mel used to work when we started dating. That's where I would go like after work and hang out while she was working. And the first ice cream order that I ordered from her while she was working there was a dream cone, and I got that again for our anniversary this time around. So I went up there and I asked, I was like, "You still got dream cones?" They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Sweet." So we got some ice cream, and that's pretty much. Other than that, wasn't anything crazy that we did for our anniversary. I mean, we grilled some burgers and things like that, just normal stuff for the weekend. But Yeah, it was a little subdued this time around. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all we did this past week. I mean, the weather's been nice, so we've been outside and hanging out outside, which has been really nice during this whole quarantine. But one of the biggest things now, I would say that my 12th anniversary was great. You know, being together for 12 years, together, still happy, a couple kids, you know, can't complain. You know, that's pretty good. Yeah. But in our backyard, so we have about a quarter of an acre of a backyard, and beyond that is a fence, and beyond that is 3 baseball fields. And it has been pretty quiet for the past couple months. And this past weekend, they opened the ball fields back up, and there was baseball in the backyard.
Nice. You can hear the games and the cheering and stuff.
Oh, dude.
I love that sound.
It's so awesome. Like, for me, baseball sounds are just something that hits me, and I just smile. It's because I love the sounds of baseball, whether it's a wooden bat or a metal bat hitting that baseball, crowds cheering, you know, the ball hitting the glove. Those kinds of sounds are really good sounds for me. And just hearing that again this past weekend was awesome. There weren't any. The first games happened tonight, but over the weekend it was like practices. So Clark and I, we just walked over to the 2 houses down, and when the 2 houses down, you can sit on the wall and you can see the entire field. Nice. And so we just sat there and watched practice, and it was amazing.
Is Clark like into baseball yet, or
no? I even asked him. I was like, "Hey, are you interested in baseball?" He's like, "No, not really."
You should have followed it up with you better be.
Dang, I was like, crush your dad's heart. All right, jeez.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be like, "Can I do it on the Switch?"
Yeah, exactly. Let's just buy MLB The Show. That's good enough.
Yeah, let's just do that. Let's go multi-platform next year.
Yeah. But I'm so glad baseball's back. There was full-on baseball games tonight back there, so I'm really looking forward to baseball coming back. Ronnie, have you heard anything about the major leagues coming back anytime soon?
I have not heard anything. I've been dying myself like for baseball to come back. Like I follow the Reds like on Instagram, and they're always posting like past videos and stuff, and like I'm like watching them like multiple times. Like, man, this is horrible. This is awful. Yeah. But I haven't heard anything about when they're going to come back.
Yeah, I just keep getting notifications on my phone, like they're talking about an 82 game season and when that's going to start, whether that's going to be like around the beginning of July, middle of June, something around there.
That's kind of
what
rough
the playoffs.
Too, man. Like, honestly, like and I know we say this more than sometimes more than 1 year, but like the Reds have a good team, man. Like, this 82 games is only going to hurt us. Like sometimes when you have a new team that's good, it takes a little bit for them to get going, and it's like when you're in an 82 game season. I know that sounds like a lot because it is, but
and I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to disagree right now.
You think it's favoring us?
Yes, because usually the Reds do pretty good before the All-Star break, and then they start to break down. And
I think
if
they started
we can get
1-10 last year, though.
Shut your mouth! I don't like stats.
If they do that again, I'm not sure if that's an exact stat, but I mean I'm feeling pretty.
But
confident.
when you have a better team, I think having people not break down and get so tired of 162 games of 9 innings, 4-hour games, and putting that in half, I think that would favor the Reds.
Yeah,
but
we'll have to see because like they have a good team, not only because of the starting players that are going to be out on the field, but like a solid bench also, and like the bench really comes into play like later in the season, like when guys need rest and stuff, and like they would be way better than a lot of the opposition.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to baseball. Can't wait for it to come back, and I'm glad I can at least hear the sounds in the backyard.
You know the Reds have a good team, by the way, is when Corey was on the podcast a few weeks ago. He's like, yeah, we were actually we were a little nervous about them. It's like,
you're right.
Nah, it's a good sign. They're talking.
Right.
But no, I can't wait to have it back. I would love to have a baseball field in my backyard, by the way. That would be sweet. Hearing
know
that
how many
ting, and then everybody cheering really loud and stuff.
You know how many times because it's been just like vacant, I would grab my bag of balls. There's like, I don't know, I probably have like 30 of them, and I would grab my bat, which is my bat from when I was in high school. It is a warped bat, but it's still a bat, whatever, you know. So we would just go to the ball field and we would just hit, and the kids would I would hit, they would be in the outfield, and they would go grab the balls, and then just put them back in the bag.
Nice.
So yeah, like I would teach.
working.
Exactly. And I would teach them about like the games of like trying to get to the closest to the pitcher's mound, or trying to get the closest to the ball bag, and those things like that. And they were having a good time, giving them little small games to play, because, you know, I have like this 32-ounce bat, which is like, you know, it's an adult bat, and Claire's 10, and she has no muscle mass at all.
Right.
For them, it's like swinging a tree.
It's like she's swinging herself.
She was choked up more than Barry Bonds choked up.
I thought you were going to say like more choked up than someone who's crying. I couldn't think of anyone that's crying lately.
Me during
that Michael
non-baseball
Jordan
season.
face. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Lucas, how about you?
Oh, hold on. Before we do that, Mark,
Oh, no.
we didn't hear your what's your feedback on the Cincinnati Reds?
They play baseball.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get back into this.
They're red.
They play baseball good.
They're in Cincinnati. They got
Big
bases
yellow
and balls.
son.
All right, don't say that. It'll disconnect me again. All right, so, yeah. So as I mentioned, 6-day weekend, not as magical as you think it would be.
I mean, that sounds pretty magical, I'm not going to lie.
I mean, it is when it's
The
just
old week off weekend.
Yeah.
when it's just you and your lover. It's fun, but when you're cooped up with your children that are heathen, yeah, it's not as fun.
It's a little complicated.
You can't go anywhere. You can't toss them out on the roof. That's not nice.
Toss them out on the
You
roof.
could.
I mean, I could. I mean, I got a front roof right off
Anything's
my.
possible.
Honestly, if it weren't for the bars on the windows, I could toss the kids out onto the garage roof right in the front of the house.
That's what Mindy installed. So you couldn't.
So I couldn't do that. She knew I'd be up to my dastardly ways. Yeah, so last week, after we recorded our wondrous episode with Chris Edgerly, I hit the week running. Bam, going. Let's do this. And
Your 1 day week.
my 1 day week, and then on Tuesday, the Brazilian, no, not the Brazilian, the Sao Paulo government said, hey guys, you're not doing your social distancing correctly, so we're going to take a holiday from June, a holiday from July, a holiday from November. We're going to shove it into the next week, and you're going to have a 6-day weekend, because studies show Brazilians do social distancing best when they have a holiday. And so they
Seems like the
just
exact opposite.
I know,
Right?
right? Well, yeah, you should have seen my Brazilian friends on Instagram, Facebook, on all the things they were up to. Were they staying at home social distancing? Yeah, not at all. So it is what it is. They declared it a 6-day holiday, and we just went with it. The kids didn't have any school, so we just got to continuing to watch our Disney movies, and I got to watch the new worst Disney film I have seen, and that is Son of Flubber.
What is that?
So there's a little...
Why is that on your list to watch?
So it's connected to a little more well-known movie called The Absent-Minded Professor, which is the original movie that Flubber was based off of, that Robin Williams movie where he had the little green goo balls dancing around, which is very loosely tied to it, but it is like supposed to be like a remake or a reboot or whatever.
So this Flubber had a son?
No, not at all. Flubber is just the name of the goop that this professor, substance that he invented.
So this substance
And-
had a child.
Yes, it had a child.
Did you ever see Flubber, Patrick?
No, I've never
Really?
seen it. No.
Oh man, I've seen that one. I feel great about this.
There you go. Look at you, Ronnie.
Dang.
I'm pretty sure I watched part of it, but I either fell asleep or it was a phase of my life where I didn't really care for Disney movies, so I didn't really pay attention. But I would have much rather watched that, the Robin Williams one, than this one. So Son of Flubber is a sequel to The Absent-Minded Professor. The Absent-Minded Professor was entertainingly quirky. And for one, it's black and white. And I'm going to be honest, I'm prejudiced against black and white movies. I just don't. I need color. I need color. I need some blues and some reds and
Sure, yeah.
And what's weird is the only Disney movies that we've been watching that are black and white are the movies with the guy that plays the professor. He did it in Shaggy Dog when he was an actor, and he does it in these professor movies. And he's just weird. And in the sequel, it's just awful. Like, I can't tell you how many times they start a storyline where they bring in like some kind of traumatic event, and then it just disappears. It's not a factor anymore. And some of the worst parts of the movies is when he gets this bright idea to show off the flubber that he invented. And for instance, in the second one, it's a football game, a high school football game. And they take the flubber. It's actually a gas. The son of flubber is gas. It's not actually a substance. And they pump this football player full of it. And then their bright idea to use the gas is to throw the guy down the field. Like, pick him up and throw him. And then that's what they do to win the game. And it's just so stupid. And even our kids are just like, 30 minutes in, our kids are like, this is boring. We're like, no, we're going to, for one, I wanted to watch it because I was tired of Fantasia being at the bottom. So I really just I knew this one was going to upset and push Fantasia up one notch. So we saw it through, never watching it again. It's now my least favorite Disney movie of all time. So that was that. Moving on to things that are much more entertaining. We bought 10 new board games this past week.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I was stocking up. Like, I'm talking like classics. Battleship, Clue. I have to look at them because I forget what they are. Life.
Battleship. Yes.
Yes. So we were cracking open these bad boys and playing, listen to my kids play Battleship and be like, hit, miss, you sank my battleship. It was just like 90s commercials or 80s commercials in live action. It was amazing. However, there was one game that was not a winner, and that was Word Yahtzee. Word Yahtzee.
So do you have letters in a cup and you're rolling them?
Exactly. It's Scrabble and Yahtzee mashed together, and I thought, it's only 7 letters. Surely the kids can make words with 7 letters.
Sure.
No, they can't. They need mommy and daddy to help them.
Oh my!
And so they're like, I don't know what words to make. And mommy, help me. Daddy, help me. Mommy, help me. Daddy, help me. And then when it was our turn, after literally 10 seconds, the kids would be like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you finished? Did you find your word yet? What's going on? And then they just start, and it was like, and again, unfortunately, Mindy and I am a little stubborn. So just like with Son of Flubber, I was like, no, we're seeing this through. We're going to get to the end of this game so that we can decide to never play it again, and which we are probably never going to play it again. Maybe when the kids get to college. That's going to be the soonest. Or never, Mindy and I can play it because it's a fun game. It's a cool little Scrabble Yahtzee game, so we'll check it out later. But besides that was the week with the family.
Have you guys tried Clue yet? Because that seems like kind of a complicated game. Did you?
So we did Clue, and other than the fact that they other than the fact that they are like goldfish and like their attention span is short, they actually did pretty well at Clue.
Okay.
They didn't win, but they did some pretty good deductioning. Is that a word? Yeah, we'll call it that. Deducing. Thank you. Scrabble. So Clue, they rocked it out with Clue. And then the life game is it's Life Junior, so it's pretty simple. Now, on the video game... Oh, go ahead, Mark. Were you going to ask a question?
Nope, never mind. Keep going.
All right, moving
Continue.
on. On the video gaming front, enough of the board game. Who does that? Board gaming. Just kidding. Love you, Mike.
Sounds like you. You got 10 of them.
Yeah, I know. Well, now we got 50 of them.
I'll tell you what. Going back to the Battleship. Oh, yeah. I played with Claire. I don't know. It might have been a couple weeks ago, and the whole point is to strategically put your ships in an area where you think they're not going to guess.
Right.
And normally, when I play with my kids, I try to trick them a little bit because
Yeah.
if I put them all together, then I'm screwed when I'm playing
Right.
with someone who knows how to play.
Of course.
So I put them in like every single one was like
On the
attached.
edge?
No, they were all attached.
Oh, okay.
So when Claire got like 6 in a row, and I still hadn't said you sunk something, she's like, I don't know what to do. She had no idea where to go. She's like,
Yeah.
did I sink one? I was like, no. She's looking at her like, what?
That happened to James. Tasha had 2 connected, and he was like, I gotcha. He's like, are you going to say I sank your battleship? Nope. What? And so he's like
You haven't.
hitting everywhere. Yeah. I was actually, what's funny is I was being all dad when they were playing, and I was like, okay, I'm going to watch what they're doing so that when we play each other, I can just destroy them.
Jeez, Dad.
So I was thinking of all the ways that I could trick them as well. So that's funny.
Fun.
On the video gaming front, I beat Battlefront 2 last week, and let me tell you,
Nice.
one, that game is glitchy, like
Really?
Super
Even
glitchy.
after all the updates
storyline
they've
or
had.
the multiplayer?
it was. Ooh, I can't.
Yes.
It was both. Yeah, it was both.
Really?
Both the multiplayer. It was actually, I think I ran into more glitches in the multiplayer. There are 2 things that happened. Either people, like stormtroopers, wouldn't die, like they would, but then they'd like start convulsing on the ground and then stand up randomly and then fall back to the ground. It was like a zombie version of Star Wars. It was really funny at times. And the other thing that happened is one time I was playing as Han Solo and I shot some stormtroopers, and all of a sudden the gravity turned off for everybody except me. And so all the stormtroopers just started floating around the sky, and then there was an explosion, and a stormtrooper literally left the atmosphere and just kept flying straight through the sky. And I was like, bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Wasn't there a video you posted of? Yeah, I think you were Luke, and you like fell through the.
Oh yes, I forgot about that one. Yeah, right at the beginning of the level, all of a sudden I fall through the planet, and I just keep falling, and it never stops. I had to turn it off, like restart the game. He just kept falling. I fell like
start.
Goodness.
10,000 meters. And for those who don't do meters, that's like 1,000,000 light years. Just so you know.
Yeah, hold on. Yep, checks out.
Yep, checks out. You calculated it. Good job. But other than that, I mean, it was Star Wars. It was cool. I will say after playing Jedi Fallen Order that it kind of make Battlefront 2 look bad. Like its story and campaign.
It is rough going back.
Yeah. And like when you play as like Luke Skywalker or someone with a lightsaber, like they feel like a tank. And I'm like, come on, man, I need my bro, Cal, right?
Yeah, Cal Kestis.
Not Cal Ripken,
Cal
Cal
Kestis.
Kestis.
Cal
Yes.
Ripken. You're
Cal
on the
Ripken.
baseball.
That's right. I know. Still doing that baseball. yeah. It's guy with a lightsaber. Tink. That's not the right sound. Just go with it.
I think they messed up. This is a glitch.
Yeah. But I will say something to just toss in there. I did delete it because I needed to make space for other games because it's like 100 gigabytes, 115 gigabytes. It's ridiculous.
Whoa.
But it is going to be free in June for PS Plus.
That's what I heard.
So I'm thinking maybe we should get some glitches going and play some Star Wars multiplayer.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I'll just have to delete 5 games to download again. Gonna have to get another 6-day weekend.
You have to delete
to,
like 500 dead cells.
no,
to
I
get
can't,
there.
Can't do that. Now, speaking of dead cells, not a long
No.
story, a short one. My kids
Jeez.
wanted to play Dead Cells, and I was like, "No, you will not play Dead Cells. You are not ready for that madness." So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about Dead Cells. I won't say anymore
That's all I have to say about that.
about that. I am doing my second playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which Patrick
go.
beat recently.
I did. This past week, I ended up beating the second Final Fantasy game I've ever played, and they both happen to be this year.
I know, right? What are the chances you would play 2 Final
Crazy.
Fantasy games in 1 year?
Almost nil. It can't
Yeah.
be 0 because I did it.
Better than the chances
right.
of me doing it, that's for sure.
That is correct.
That's nil for him.
yes, for sure.
But yeah, I beat it. I slow played it pretty much through
You
chapter
did.
8.
I was really surprised.
It
I was like,
was
this is taking him
it wa-
forever.
it wasn't really grabbing me. I mean, like I was having a good time, but I wasn't. It wasn't just grabbing me. But once chapter 9 hit, and you
got
go
your
to the
dance
wall
on.
market, and all the things that you can do in the wall market, kind of like I wanted to do it all. It was the craziest chapter in the whole game, and it was funny. It was stupid, but some of the stupid parts just like it worked for some reason. Like it was something I wanted to get back to. So once I finished chapter 9, I like blazed through the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Because, well, when I say blazed, I mean I played every day for a few hours, and I did all the side quests, as much of the side quests as I could find. Apparently, I missed one or two because there's a trophy to do all the side quests, but I didn't get the trophy, so I must have missed one or two somewhere.
Yeah, there's a branching part actually in Wall Market in Chapter 9 that you can't do 2 missions. You either go with the cowboy guy or you go with the hand massage lady. So.
Oh man, the hand massage lady.
Oh
man, that was different. That was different.
Yep, that sounds like a JRPG.
No spoilers, but did you do the poor man's massage or did you do the?
Dude, I had enough to do the whole thing, man.
Did you do the whole thing?
I had enough gil to go to the Legacy or whatever it was called.
After
I was like, give me top shelf.
I was so glad my kids were not watching when I got that one.
It was 3,000 gil or whatever it was. I had like 3,200. I was like, yeah, I'm blowing it all right now.
Right here, right now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it was so after chapter 9, I went through the whole thing. There were some parts near the end. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. And I think I needed to play the original to understand a little bit what was going on.
You did,
but that did not detract from how much fun I had playing that game. So
that's awesome, man.
It was good. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, like I said, I'm
Nice.
I'm on the second playthrough. I just finished chapter 12. I'm heading down chapter 13 on a hard difficulty, and it is not that bad. I kind of got the hard stuff out of the way because before I actually started the hard playthrough, I did what's considered the hardest boss rush, the hardest battles in the game, where you have to fight the 4 summons. Did you fight any summons, Patrick, when you were?
I fought during the VR.
Yeah,
I did
the VR ones.
I did. I did 4 maybe.
Okay.
I think the
So the big
next
fat
one,
bird, the big
did
fish,
that one,
the big
fish.
dragon.
I think there's like
The ice lady.
Ice lady. I got her.
I'm using all the like very basic ways to describe it.
The only one I didn't do was Baha Man. I think that's one of them.
Baha Man.
Yep.
The Baha Man.
Did they let the dogs out?
Yep.
No, I didn't. I wasn't able to let the dogs out. I did not get that far.
That's another summon you can get. You let the dogs out. They
I'm
bite
assuming
everyone.
you mean Bahamut.
Yeah.
No, Baha Man.
Baha Man.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
Bahamut.
You know how I like to mess with names.
Yeah. But on the hard
I sure
playthrough, you can the very final VR mission that you can only unlock when you've done all the Coliseum and all the VR missions or VR combat.
Wait, there's more Coliseum missions?
Oh yeah. You just have to go back through on hard to do them.
Oh, okay. Because I did the Coliseum, I did that, and then I went back to do another story mission, but I did not know you can keep going back and fight more.
Yep.
Okay.
And once you do all that, you get the hardest VR mission or VR combat fight. And I did that before I did my hard playthrough, and I got this accessory that I cannot pronounce. I like
Do you
to
fight a condominium?
No, you don't fight a condominium. You fight a large robot, which is not actually the hardest fight in the game. But once you fight that guy, you get the accessory that gives you every battle you start with your limit break on. So you can...
What?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Nice.
And so you could just limit break everybody, and it recharges it every like 1 to 2 minutes. And so it's making this hard playthrough pretty much a breeze. I think I've died twice so far, so it's been fun.
All right. Okay.
It's been a good time.
Cool.
And then like Mark, I started The Last of Us, but I have to play the game before 7 a.m. because my children are around all the time. I don't have a man cave to escape to. So I've been crawling along. I'm like,
your fault.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's my fault. What's wrong with me? I should have dug out a basement in this house I'm renting, and
there's a lot of dirt underneath
done
your
something
house,
about it. That's right. There's no grass, just dirt. So, but I'm working on that. I will see how far I get and go from there. But I am very excited to hear how Mark does with that. So,
cool.
Besides that, that is all I got on the updates. Before we jump into our topic, I did have one random question from Barnaby Butterteeth that has to do with gaming and has to do with that dad life. Mark and Ronnie, if you want to think about your pets and see how this question applies, hey, we'll see.
Nope.
All right. Here is a question to the dads in the podcast. I have a 10-year-old niece that is getting into gaming. She likes Minecraft, Tetris, and Zelda. Apparently, kids in her grade are getting into Fortnite.
Fortnite?
Yes, Barnaby, you and your spelling is amazing. And she wants to start playing as well. I said, heck no. I translated that.
Oh, really?
What are your thoughts about online shooters for kids? When is a good age to let them start? I want to encourage her to play games, but I'm not sure Fortnite in that particular online community is a good idea. So, Patrick, let's hear your thoughts. Online shooters for kids.
It is a very valid question. It's a very good question. But with Fortnite, it's a little different than other online shooters. It's
very cartoony, right?
It's very cartoony. There's no blood in it. There's a lot of goofiness. I know online communities can be toxic.
Yeah.
But I believe there's a way to mute others during a match that you can't hear anybody else. Now, mostly when you're playing with Fortnite, you're playing with younger people. I got into Fortnite a couple times, and I would say 90% of the time I was playing with other kids, and I could hear them on the other during game chat, and they were younger. Most of the time they're pretty nice. And then you get into the other ones where you get into the toxic part where people are mad that a 5-year-old is playing Fortnite. It's like, seriously, you're this game. I believe this game is geared more towards kids than anybody else. That's why you see Fortnite being one of the biggest games there is right now.
Right.
One, because it's free, and two, because it's easy to jump into. Also, with Fortnite, what I've done with my kids, now I played a couple games with the kids because they have like a split screen mode that you can do. Mm-hmm. But really, there is another mode within Fortnite. It's pretty much a building mode where you together, split screen can play, build, just fight each other, and just be creative. I don't know if it's called creative mode, or I don't know if it's still called that, if it's called something else. But that's a great. I would say Fortnite online, maybe not. If you don't have a headset, just mute the other party members. But one of the things that really prevents me from allowing Clark to play online is the messages that people can get from other, either your teammates or some other person that you fight or whatever. They can find your screen name or your ID or whatever gamer tag it is. They can send you a message, and some of those messages that I've seen, I've never gotten one before, but they can be pretty vulgar. And they will use, cursory words that I don't think that, a 9 or 10-year-old should be getting, because, it's a whole different topic, but online bullying is real. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want Clark to play online. He's 5, he really can't read right now. He knows his sight words kind of thing. But
But there's nothing quite like when your 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old says, "Daddy, what's boop?"
Right?
Because I've had that happen. Because I've played good old Jackbox games on Twitch 2 times with anybody being able to join, and one of those times my kids were present, and some choice words were used, and my daughter asked me about them.
You got to be careful with those,
Yep.
for sure. Yeah. So that's the biggest thing is the messages and being able to hear someone. If you can turn off messages and you can turn off the chat, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Now with Fortnite, but if you're talking about like a Call of Duty or maybe an Apex Legends where there's more shooting and death, that
More realistic violence.
more
and stuff.
realistic, I would say. Yeah.
That would give
then
my
maybe
son.
not.
My son is 7, and he would have nightmares for for months if he saw some of that stuff.
Yeah.
He read a book online with his sister about Bigfoot, and it was an audio book, and it had like drawings and pictures and stuff, and it got my kids going down this trail of Yeti and Bigfoot sightings, and the whole time they're like, yeah, but Bigfoot's not real, and we talked about it and stuff, and I'm not kidding. Today, earlier, he was having a snack at the kitchen table, and he walks in with this look of fear on his face, and he goes, "Daddy, can you come sit with me? I can't stop thinking about Bigfoot." And I'm like, oh
no,
Are you
really?
serious, dude? You're getting freaked out. It was a kid's book about Bigfoot. It wasn't even like,
Well,
he was
their
watching on a
minds,
big TV.
For us, you see something that is scary. You've seen scary stuff.
Yeah.
So what scares you. You've had that, when you were a kid, things like that, like horns,
Right.
on a person could scare you. Whether or not they look like a demon or not,
Right.
could scare the heck out of you because
Yeah.
it's totally foreign, totally alien to what you've ever experienced. But I mean, we nowadays, we're so immune to that kind of things. Our minds are just like, okay, we've seen that before. We know it's not real. But for 5, 9, 10-year-old, you're like, I've never experienced this before. This looks scary to me.
Yeah. Yep. And to clarify, Barnaby Butterteeth did say later on, one of my big concerns is how toxic some communities can be. And that I think is where he's coming from, and rightly so. I think, from my perspective, I don't want to add too much because I think, Patrick, you hit the nail on the head. But I would want to add that I think it's not about whether they, especially when they're 10, 11, 12 years old, they're going to be exposed to it one way or the other at school or whatever. But I think it's all about presence. If you're there with them, if you're experiencing it with them and you can talk about it, I think that makes all the difference. When I was
that's best case scenario.
Yeah. Because when I was a kid, I watched all kinds of movies when I was 7 and 8, movies I had no business watching. And then I repeated those words in elementary school a lot. And I think it's in part because my parents just kind of played the ignore it game. They thought, well, if we don't make a big deal out of it, he won't make a big deal out of it. And instead of talking to me about it, and I kind of am like, you know what? You kids are going to hear stuff. Sometimes I let them watch me play Final Fantasy VII, and sometimes they do say some words, and I talk about it immediately. I'm like, hey.
If Barrett's on the screen, you say, all right.
I actually mute it. When Barrett's on the screen, I mute it because I'm like, he's too much. Like everybody and every character in that game has a moment where they say something, and I'll talk to the kids about it. I think it comes down to presence. And so Barnaby, if you can be present with your niece when she's playing, I think it's good that, like Patrick said, do the building thing or play offline. But the most important thing is to be present. Talk about it, talk her through it and try to play with her and enjoy it with her. Don't just make it like no, you can't do this because something bad's going to happen. I don't think that's a good way to, operate. It's all about preparing them for getting older in adulthood where you can't shelter people from that stuff. So, alrighty then. With that, let's jump into just a hard turn right now. The topic of the show. right, folks. We are talking
What?
about
No. Oh, no, I'm not. I
Jim
don't approve
Carrey.
of that transition.
Carrey. Alrighty then.
Transition
Come on,
Ninja
man.
turns into Transition Surf Ninja.
I just hit that wave and just wrote it right in because, hey, I had no idea how to transition talking about toxic online multiplayer
Man,
games.
I was going to talk
and
about.
Jim Carrey. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Mark? Do your transition and then Patrick.
Man, I was
can edit it.
gonna mention when you were talking about Battleship, the scene from Batman Forever. If you remember that, there's this scene where Batman and Robin, they're coming in like the Batwing and the Batboat, and they're trying to head towards Two-Face and Riddler's hideout, and
yeah.
I
they're
always forget
basically
about the
launching
Batboat.
missiles, and they're launching missiles at Batman and Robin using a game of Battleship. Like
That's right.
it's Two-Face and Riddler.
I forgot about
I
that.
totally don't remember this.
I've totally just X'd that out of my memory.
Yeah, that's
This is
exactly.
so awful.
And all I remember is Jim Carrey, "You suck my battleship."
Oh gosh, I totally forgot about that. Absolute train wreck. Man, you should have just been like, "Hey Lucas, remember when you were talking about Battleship?" Just totally like reference back to 20 minutes ago. That would have been perfect.
I tried.
Missed opportunity. Too bad.
That's funny.
Well, then I guess
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. The topic of the show, guys, is Jim Carrey's movies, life, and legacy. And to really warm us up and get us in the mood, because it's a night show, let's play Bamboozled. Alrighty then, edition. Are you ready, contestants?
No.
Fantastic. I knew you wouldn't be, so let's do this. Tonight we are going to be going in clockwise alphabetic order. Okay?
How is that different?
Don't worry about it. That's why you're not hosting. So, Patrick, you're going to be first to
Good.
lead the way. Are you ready? Actually, boop, 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 boop. The Wicked Wango card has showed its ugly head. You didn't pick it.
Who picked it?
But it came out anyways. You picked it. You just didn't know it. Quit making that face.
I don't agree. Again, I don't agree with this.
That's too bad. You're not hosting. So tonight we're going to be using buzzers, just like we did in a past episode. I don't remember. So, Patrick, your sound is going to be alrighty then. When you want to
My
answer,
sound
your
is
sound
alrighty
is
then.
alrighty then.
All right. Okay. Got it.
Mark,
Okay.
your sound is going to be... I can't think of something Jim Carrey said, but go ahead and make one up. Oh,
Smoking.
yes. And Ronnie, your sound's going to be the most annoying sound in the world.
All right, hopefully Elizabeth's not sleeping already.
Perfection. So let's jump right into this. This game is going to be beautiful.
Hold on, let me do a warm-up one first.
Warm it up for us. I like it. That sounds beautiful.
That's
Let's
gonna be
do
fun
this.
to edit.
Everybody is
That
going
was
to
so
jump
loud.
back.
Here we go.
Hey, Ronnie, when you do that, don't do it directly into the mic.
Please.
Eat the
Ears are
microphone.
bleeding.
Here we go. First question. Which actor was originally picked to star in the original Ace Ventura?
Alrighty then.
Patrick.
Dang it.
Burt Reynolds.
That is incorrect.
Nailed it.
So,
Dang
I
it.
didn't get to hear the entire question because it broke up.
Fair enough. I'll give you some options.
You should have said who
What?
is
I didn't
Burt
get
Reynolds?
options. Hold on.
Sorry about your luck, Patrick.
No.
picked
No,
the
I didn't
Wicked
even hear
Wango
the
card.
question.
Here we go.
Bad. Carry on.
Which actor was originally picked to star in the original Ace Ventura? Was it Jim
Okay.
Carrey, Rick Moranis, Matthew Broderick, or Tom Hanks?
Smoking.
Marc Boucher.
Tom Hanks.
That is incorrect,
Ah,
Dang it.
is that better?
I guess. Ronnie Johantges.
Rick Moranis.
That is correct. Ding, 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 ding. You get a point, my friend. Ronnie
That would be so weird.
takes the lead. Wouldn't that be
Oh, I think Burt Reynolds would have
so
been
weird?
great.
Burt Reynolds would have been perfect. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Little known
Do
fact,
not go in there, eh?
Yeah. Rick Moranis turned that role down for the Flintstones and Little Giants. Wow.
Good call.
Good call. All right, here we go. So
Another Ace Ventura.
we are gonna transition
all we have.
before we get to our next question. Time for a speed round where you only have to yell out the answer and you will get a point.
No buzzers.
No
The answer.
buzzers, just
The answer.
That is incorrect. -1 point for Patrick. All right, here we go. This speed round is the Jim Carrey movie jobs speed round. Are you ready? Good. Ace
Got it.
Ventura.
Pet Detective.
Correct. Truman Show.
Dad.
Incorrect.
No.
-1 point for Patrick.
He wasn't a dad.
Anyone?
Insurance salesman.
I don't remember.
That is correct. Insurance. You just evened out on that one. Good job.
thanks.
All right.
Zero.
Dang.
Next, The Mask.
Banker.
That is
He's a bank teller.
correct. Ronnie got that one. Bruce Almighty.
News reporter.
News anchor.
That is correct. Ronnie snuck
God.
that one in as well. Me, myself, and Irene.
Wait, hold on. No. Okay, good.
Me, myself, and Irene.
Isn't he like a Mountie or something like that?
Close enough. It's the American version.
Mountaineer.
Ranger. What's the American
State,
version?
state Trooper. You dingle hopper. I'll give it to Mark just for the sake of
that's
moving
right.
on. Yes.
That's good.
All right, here we go. Question number 2. We survived that speed round. And, buzzers. Sorry, I forgot how we were playing the game. Question number 2. Jim Carrey once starred in a vampire movie. True or false?
Alrighty then.
Smoking.
Patrick.
Yes.
That is true. Ding, 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 ding. For bonus, what is the movie called?
Oh no.
Can I do the bonus?
Sure.
Smoking. Once bitten.
That is correct. Once
I
bitten.
didn't know.
Patrick got a point, and so did Mark. Good job. Here we go. Next to another speed round. Get ready.
Back to a speed round.
Another speed round. These are going to be principal co-stars that Jim Carrey had in the following movies.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
First movie, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Kate Winslet. Excuse me.
Alrighty then.
You don't have
He
to
did
buz
not bring
in.
in.
We don't have to
Negative
use
1
buzzer.
point for
Oh,
Patrick.
Ah!
And that is a point, even though you pronounced it Winslet. Mark
I was trying
gets
to
a
get it out.
point. I know. Good. That sounds fantastic. All right, next movie, Dumb and Dumber.
Jeff Daniels.
Mark got it. Bruce Almighty.
Steve Carell.
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston and...
Either way.
Steve Carell.
I said Steve Carell.
Wait, he was in Bruce Almighty?
Evan Backstabber.
was
I
it?
mean
News
Baxter.
anchor guy. Yeah.
Oh,
Morgan
right.
Freeman.
I guess. Ronnie said Jennifer Aniston first, so he gets the point.
Yeah.
All right.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman was
go.
the other one I was looking for. I'll give you a bonus point. I'll give you all. You know what? You know what? You all get points on that one. Congratulations for being
Yay!
so neat. All right, Fun with Dick and Jane.
Taya Leone.
Correct. Can you name the man?
I've never actually seen that one, so
Shame on you, sir.
It is the guy from Beetlejuice.
He
What's
takes
his
a
name?
Wait, I couldn't-
mental
I didn't hear it.
picture.
no. What was the movie?
Dick
Over
and
the
Jane.
poker? You couldn't hear it over the poker? Too bad.
Too bad.
No, I couldn't hear it over the bad internet.
It's Alec. It is
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin. Yes. All right. Last
Dang
one.
it! I couldn't hear it.
The Mask. The Mask.
Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz.
Yes, Patrick got that one as well. All right, next question. Please buzz in. The mask that Stanley Ipkiss wears is in the image of a Roman god. True or false? That is not your buzz-in sound.
That's not your buzzer.
That's my turkey call from a couple episodes ago.
Boom, boom, boom. I gotta get Corey Fouch's buzzer in. Boom, boom.
Waiting for a buzz-in.
No.
Negative 1 point for Patrick. Anyone? It's 50-50 chance to get it correct.
Smoking.
It's not that hard. Thank you, Marc Boucher.
Yes, false. True.
Negative 1 point for Mark.
Have a good night, everybody.
Turn on the old sprinkler of
Yes,
answers.
false. Ronnie, answer anything that sounds like a correct answer, and I'll give you a point. It is not true, but I'll still give you a point.
Any number and you win.
And you win. It is actually false. It was Nordic. It was supposed to be Loki, the god of darkness and mischief. All right. Moving on to the final speed round. This is the full name speed round where you give the full name of Jim Carrey's character in his movie.
Okay.
Please, no buzzing in, just yell the answer, and I might give you a point. First one, Dumb and Dumber.
Lloyd Christmas.
You got it, Patricky. Batman Forever.
The Riddler.
Edward
Incorrect. Thank you, Mark. I knew you would get that
dang.
one.
I was going to say.
The Mask.
Stanley Ipkiss.
Stanley Ipkiss.
That's correct.
Stanley Ipkiss.
Mark, you get half a point for coming in late. And Ronnie gets a fourth of a point for coming in later. Okay.
According to my internet, I was in before
be-
Patrick, but you
Could
know,
be the win.
Liar, Liar.
I don't remember.
Bob Saget.
I'll give you 2 points for an effort. Why not? I'm feeling generous. It is Fletcher Reed.
Oh,
That's one, man. I would not. That is not a household name.
Samsonites.
It's way off. And the last one, Man in the Moon.
Andy Kaufman.
Mark got it. That is correct. All right. I really kept score in a very sloppy way. So while
So everyone wins.
While I tally, let's transition right into our movie discussion, because I know all of us here love Jim Carrey movies, and we have a top 5. So with that, who wants to lead the way?
Do we all want to give our number ones first, or do we just want to give our whole
just
list?
go right out of the gate? I mean, I'm fine with you. You know,
Let's
mixing it up.
Let's do. Go from your number 5 down.
5s
And if
isn't it 5s and up?
That would be
Fives and up?
6, 7, and 8 then?
Yeah, I'll go from number 5 to number 10.
Yes,
don't have
false.
that many?
I need to get
Yes,
I thought your
false.
top 5s were 30.
look up some movie titles here.
All right, start with number 5.
Fun with Dick and Jane.
Ooh, that is my honorable
Okay.
mention.
I love
you
that
go.
movie, man. It's hilarious.
It is funny. Anytime I hear the word indicted, I think
Indicted.
of Fun with indicted. You hear that, Jane? Indicted.
I love when they basically
I'm indicted.
he steals, like, I don't know what he steals from that little gas station or whatever, and they like floor it, and they're like flying through the rain in that little bitty peanut car. And he's like, are they still back there? He's like, I don't think anybody's actually following us.
When we
that is a
asked
funny
about Jim Carrey questions and comments, most certainly Tim Pollin, the one and only, said "Fun with Dick and Jane" for the win. So that is definitely one of his favorites. I remember watching that in the theater with my wife, and I really appreciated the satire on Enron that it represented at the time.
It did,
Like
for sure.
all the stuff with Alec Baldwin's character, who would always give him. Was that? No, that wasn't. That was. I was mixing up him giving. Who would he massage in the bathroom at the urinal? That was another movie that he was in.
That was Dumb and Dumber, right?
No.
Wait.
No, where Alec
Dumb and
Baldwin
Dumber, he
was
in.
with Alec
Oh, no,
Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin massaging with someone at a urinal.
Yeah, I think it was Ben Stiller. What's the movie that Alec Baldwin and Ben Stiller in together? Anyways, there's a scene, a couple scenes where he's always like massaging or getting too close. He's like breaking all the Ronnie rules in the bathroom in the movie. and I can't remember if that's Fun with Dick and Jane or if that's another movie. I'm gonna have to do some research. I'll get back to you. But Alec Baldwin, I love Alec Baldwin as a co-star, not as a main guy. Yeah. As a co-star, he's hilarious.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny.
He also plays like in that scene. Like Alec Baldwin was made to play like the pompous jerk.
Oh
boss.
Yeah.
For sure.
He was born for that role.
Perfect for
And he
it.
does it great every time.
Dude.
All right, who else has got a number 5?
My number 5 is the number 23.
Oh, I never saw that.
Have you guys seen that one?
Never seen it.
So
Bits and pieces of it.
It's not a comedy. It's more a Jim
There isn't.
Carrey as a person movie, and he just gets obsessed with the number 23, and it just like goes down a rabbit hole of him being obsessed with things that are 23 or add up to 23 or have 2 and 3 in it. And I probably watch it maybe every few years, and it's a nice like I don't know, contrast from all the other ones that are on my list.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so I really do like. I know the number 23 did not get very good reviews, but I enjoyed it because it was a little different and there was a little bit of a thrill, suspense to it as well, and just seeing Jim Carrey in like a different character than his normal comedy routine.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Batman Forever. Because
Nice.
and you can make fun of me all you want,
I'm
but
sorry.
it's
not your choice that made me
it's Jim-
do that. It's just like it's that Batman Forever. But yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from.
but it's Jim Carrey, like at his finest, honestly.
Yeah.
Like doing his Jim Carrey thing, like to the nth
Yeah, he's just able to
degree.
be goofy. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
His interpretation of Riddler is way better than the real Riddler, in my opinion. Like,
yeah,
I loved
Yeah.
it.
I did too. I actually like. I know we've had this discussion before, but I like Batman Forever. Like, as a kid, I thought it was awesome. Like as an adult,
Yeah.
not as much. But no, I freaking loved that movie when I was a kid.
I liked him
Yeah.
as Edward Nygma,
Yeah,
absolutely.
not the Riddler. Like him
was cool
before he became the
transition,
Riddler. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yep, this is your brain on the box. But yeah, I mean, in terms of a Batman movie, to me, Batman Forever is middle of the road. But just all the goofiness that he exudes as the Riddler, you know, physical slapstick comedy, like when he's blowing up the Batcave with all his little Riddler bombs and stuff like that, and all that kind of stuff. It's just classic Jim Carrey to me. Of course, it's on the lower end of my list because I think there are better movies where Jim Carrey does his thing, but
Right.
Yeah,
it's still Jim Carrey doing his thing.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, my number 5 is, I mean, I feel like it's Jim Carrey. Whatever role he plays, it always has his fingerprint on it, and I think in How the Grinch Stole Christmas is yet another great holiday flick where he's Jim Carrey dressed up like the Grinch. Like he's not playing,
yeah.
he's not really playing the Grinch, but he gives an extra flair to it. Where I remember the old cartoon where it just was like about an old man that finally was like, all right, fine, you don't have to get off my lawn, I'll be nice. But when Jim Carrey did the Grinch, it was like he just brought an extra life to it that was just so enjoyable that even when he was being mean, he was funny. And it's my preferred version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas as opposed to the cartoon. So
I agree.
it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I don't have a lot of like special moments from it. But I just remember getting done and watching it and be like, it made, like, when I would go back and watch How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the original cartoon, it made it better because of watching Jim Carrey's performance. So
Yeah, the
that's
live
my
action
number 5.
one is, it's so much. The live action one is so much better, and it's one of those movies that we watch as a family each Christmas.
Yeah.
We watch Elf, we watch Santa Claus, and The Grinch Stole Christmas. So yeah,
Nice. All right, number 4. I think everybody gave their number 5, right?
yeah.
So let's loop it back to Mark. What is your number 4?
My number 4 is How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah,
It was
so
on my
I
honorable
absolutely
mention
love.
list, actually.
nice.
Okay. Yeah, like Patrick, it's one of those movies I have to watch at Christmas.
Yeah.
It's just become one of those classic movies, and I never thought I would want to see Sean Connery playing the Grinch, but here we are. Because that's basically the accent he has through the whole movie.
I was like, wait,
Gosh,
what?
I have not even thought about it. Now I'm going to every single time I see
So
it.
my favorite scene from that movie is when he's like trying stuff on. He's like, "But what would I wear?" And then he's like trying stuff on. He's like, "Ooh, that's it. I'm not going." And he just like storms off. That's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite parts is when they're basically, they're getting ready to do this whole thing with stealing all the Christmas stuff from the Who's, and he's talking to Max, and he puts the little red nose on Max's nose, and he comes out and he's got this like USS, I forget the name of the ship, but it's like a Navy ship hat, and he's making fun of Ron Howard, who's the director, and so he comes out, he's like, okay, this is the game here. You're a reindeer with a red nose and nobody likes you. Then one night Santa asks you to ride his sleigh. And action! And he just pops his nose off. Brilliant!
Little known fact,
Love
How
that.
the Grinch Stole Christmas is actually his most monetarily popular movie. His best-selling movie at $381 million, which
Yeah. Yeah.
second.
I mean, with it being a Christmas movie, and it's all kids, all ages can watch it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then
Yep.
right behind it is Batman Forever at $335
Seriously?
million. Yep,
Wow.
second place in sales.
There you go.
All right, Patrick, what is your number 4?
Number 4 for me is Liar Liar.
Yeah.
Not a bad
There's
call.
so many times in that movie I still use to this day. So like lines like if I'm riding an elevator, I'm like 21st floor, menswear, or if someone's on the phone, I always think like, who you gonna call? Your girlfriend? Putting the fist up like the little kid does.
This
which
pen
his kid's
is
son is.
royal blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's it's okay up until he has to tell the truth. Once he has to tell the truth from that point on for the rest of the movie, it is hilarious. There's so many times where he has to tell the truth, whether he's in the courthouse and he's trying to tell a lie. He's like, I can't lie.
Yeah.
Or he's like, he's in the bathroom. He's like, I'm beating myself up. Do you mind?
It's a good
Yeah,
one.
that was good. Man.
Stuff. Ronnie, number
Mine
4.
is The Mask.
Oh.
Okay.
Somebody stop me.
Yeah, I just remember being a little kid, like watching that movie and like so like enamored with the whole idea, just like the coolness of that movie. But yeah, it was number 4 for me.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah, I remember watching that movie in the theater, and then years down the road, not realizing that his co-star was Cameron Diaz. Like, I did not recognize her from the film. Like, she just
Very
looked
early
different.
Cameron Diaz.
It was a very early Cameron Diaz. And of course, I had no idea when that movie came out that it was a comic book, graphic novel, or whatever before. And I was so confused, but it was funny, so I just went with it. And did you guys ever watch the sequels? Son of the Mask. So yeah, Son of the
I
Mask.
bet you did watching Son of Flubber.
I know, right? Well, that's actually what it reminded me of it, because when I watched it, I was like, I should never watch a movie that starts with son of a. It never works out. So Son of Flubber, Son of the Mask. Oh, awful.
That's funny.
Worst. All right, my number 4 is, and you guys might, I'll share why it's maybe considered quote unquote lower, because I'm sure you guys have this higher up on the list. My number 4 is Dumb and Dumber.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's in your top 5.
It's still my top
agree.
5. It's all good. And I mean,
I got it.
Dumb and Dumber, I know you guys are, going to share about it. Maybe, I don't know. Does anybody have it as number 3?
I will share it right now. It's number 2 for me.
Number 2 for you? Fair enough.
It is absolutely number 1 for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fair enough.
It's,
All right.
it's good, like.
Yeah.
I feel bad. It's not in my top 5.
What? You booed me, Ronnie. You should be booing Marc Boucher.
I will accept your boos.
No,
Quite
it is one of those
possibly.
movies that it's not for everybody. I mean, like, it's very stupid comedy, but like,
Yeah.
I feel like I just
that's
like
100%.
grew up on that movie. Like, and I love
Yeah.
like really stupid comedy, like Will Ferrell movies and stuff like that. Like, those are absolutely my favorite. Like, that's my
Stuff
favorite.
you don't have to think about. You're like, I'm just here for the laughs.
Yeah, just
But
all
there's
the little
so
stupid
many-
stuff in that movie, man.
But there's so many one-liners in that movie. It's like Samsonite. It's way off. Like, it just pets'
said that
heads
earlier.
Pets' heads are falling off.
My
Yeah.
favorite part is
Pretty
he's
birdie.
like, pull over,
Pretty
and he's
birdie.
like, no, it's a cardigan, but thanks for asking.
You had an extra pair of gloves this whole time? Yeah. We are in the Rockies.
So good.
Yeah.
You hungry? Nah, I swallowed a June bug on the way over here.
But that movie, I mean, I have to say that, like, when I see things escalating, like with my kids, and like, Tasha will push James, and then James will, like, I don't know, make it worse. I immediately think of Lloyd, or no, I think of Harry and his snowball fight with the
This is
girl.
a point
Like,
blank range.
and he just point blank range throws a snowball in her
Winds
face.
up and nails her.
And I just, there's no way to quote that or to like really, but I just laugh to myself and think about that's life sometimes. Someone always takes it too far. Like, the kids and I are
Boy,
playing.
this party really died.
Yeah. There's just so many moments that are just so classic in that movie. So you're saying there's a chance.
There's so many times you quote Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
So many times. How is it not number 1 for you?
I know, but and that's why I'll get into when I share my number 3.
Okay,
but
cool.
yeah, Dumb and Dumber. That's my number 4.
Nice.
I think we all shared a number 4, right?
I did number 4.
And number 1
Yeah,
for
did
me.
Number 1. That's all right. We'll pretend like you didn't. We'll just loop back again. Then let's go into
think
number.
Mark, did you do 4?
He did number 4.
Yeah, Grinch
I
is
don't-
number 4.
I don't remember. Okay.
Great.
well,
Thanks for
move
listening, Patrick. All right. Number 4. Or dang it, number 3.
Let's do our number
I'm just
4
going to jump into my number 3.
Liar, liar.
I will say, well, actually, that's my number 3 is Liar, Liar. And I know we already
Nice,
talked about
okay,
it,
cool.
but once
All
you get into, for me, when you get to number 3, number 2, and number 1, that's when I feel like Jim Carrey's movies have like a moral to the story, and it makes it more rewatchable. Or it makes it more something that I know down the road I can like watch with my kids, and we can not just laugh, but we can have like just a life discussion. And Liar Liar is one of those. Like, how many times in your life have you just wished you could say the truth? And maybe you do sometimes. I'm one of those guys that just like, all the stuff passes through my head, what I really want to say. And then I'm like, good for you, thumbs up, just give a little smile. Because I don't want to be rude, or I don't, I know it's not going to help the situation, so I shut it. But watching that movie and seeing him like not be able to lie, it's kind of freeing. It's like, you know what? There's no BS. There's no just like beating around the bush. I just say what I'm thinking. And sometimes that would just be nice if people could be like that and just be truthful and stuff. So I really like Liar Liar. I like the moral to the story. It's hilarious when he wraps the tape around his face in the courtroom and just like kind of looks at him with his lip hanging up and his teeth hanging out. Like, it's just like that visual. It's just like, and it just makes me laugh. So Liar Liar's my number 3. How about you,
Nice.
Ronnie? Number 3.
My number 3 is Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
Oh, the sequel.
Oh, the sequel. Nice.
Like a glove.
And that kind of gives away my number 2 also. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there.
All right, fair enough.
It's
Just
Pet
jump right
Detective.
into it.
It's number 2.
Nice. Yeah, the Ace Ventura movies, they're so goofy.
I love them.
They
man.
make no sense.
No,
But
it's it's Jim Carrey, man. Like,
Yeah,
just his character, at least the way he moves is hilarious. Like that clip you sent us earlier, where he's bouncing around in the car, but it pans out. He's just on a regular road.
Nonsense, movie pants.
Oh, my daughter laughed at that scene and said, oh, "It's good.
Yeah,
It's a hilarious scene."
yeah, it is hilarious.
When he gets in the dang it, like robotic rhino, and then it breaks, and he has to get out of it, and everybody's watching.
They stop. They think they're going to see a birth.
He does it. It gives birth to Ace Ventura.
My favorite,
Naked
my
Ace
favorite
Ventura.
part from my favorite part from that movie is when they're going like the consulate's like getting away in the car, and they run out, and he's like looking in all the cars for keys, and he looks in, and then he runs around this gigantic monster truck, and of course it has the keys in it.
Yeah.
He's like, nobody wants to play with me.
There's a chitty chitty bang bang.
I think my favorite part of that movie that I would constantly put on repeat was the scene. I think it's the consulate where he's given some sort of a slideshow presentation. And Ace Ventura is making like
the shadow puppets.
Hi ho, Silver! Away!
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard not to laugh.
Yeah.
when he walks into that room with all the animals on the wall, and like he's screaming with his tongue hanging out, and the camera's going around him. He's like, "Is there something wrong?" He's like, "Of course not. This is a lovely room of death." Okay, now, bye then. Of course not.
Right at the beginning of that movie, he does the slinky down the temple.
Oh yeah.
Oh no!
That is a dream. I remember watching that and be like, man, I got to do that someday.
Yeah.
Before we even knew we were talking about Jim Carrey movies, I sent that GIF to Lucas.
Yep.
Earlier last week, just because it was like a Final Fantasy VII reference.
Yep.
And it
was
so happened
quite
to be
appropriate.
hilarious. I love it. Can I try it again?
All right, Pat. What is your number 3?
Number 3 for me is Bruce Almighty.
Yes, love it.
Dude, I don't know what it is, but it's a combination of Jim Carrey as a person, and also Jim Carrey as like an Ace Ventura kind of Dumb and Dumber kind of person. It's like there was a combination of those two things, and him playing God and how hard it would be to be God. It just and also the supporting cast, not just Jim Carrey, but the supporting cast kind of helps it out a little bit. But he's like the average person who, if they could do whatever they want, would do whatever they want.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And would screw everything up beautifully. BEA
Everyone
beautiful.
wins the lottery.
Yeah. I won $4 or however much money they get.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a classic
That's my
movie.
number 3.
It's a good one.
Yep.
Mark, number 3.
My number 3 is also Bruce Almighty.
Yes. Nice.
The 3s have it.
Yeah, I loved all the clever little ways they gave God's powers to Bruce. You know, like he had to answer the emails with all the prayers.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes.
He's like typing.
And all that stuff. Like I think before that movie, Jim Carrey was kind of at a low in terms of popularity, and then he spiked right back up with Bruce Almighty. And yeah, some of the best Jim Carrey movies are ones that you quote everything from the movie. That's how you know it's good. And that's definitely some of some of my favorites.
You meant to say,
That's the way
and that's
the
the
cookie
cookie crumbles. Yep.
Exactly.
That's the way.
I like it.
I like it.
I like it. I quote that one all the time with my family. You got to do it in that Cronkite voice, and that's the way the cookie
Walter Cronkite.
Walter Cronkite. All right.
Let there be light.
Number 2. My number 2 is The Truman Show. I love The Truman Show. It does help that being an English teacher, I found an end to show this movie to my Brazilian students over, in my 8 years here. I think I showed it like 2 or 3 times, and just, it's definitely it's definitely not a serious role, but it's one of his more serious roles where he kind of goes crazy halfway through the film, but I just love, again, the morals to the story, where he mixes humor with, some emotional or story depth. I really like the movie, and it's such an outrageous movie to, back when reality shows were booming and people were like, the sky's the limit with these reality shows. We can do whatever we want. And this is definitely a satire for what you can do with a reality show, given they had a baby and they did a reality show based on his life, and he thought he was living a real life and it was all actors and everything else. Mm-hmm. And I just love that movie, and just the emotional resonance it has and stuff is so good. What are you going to say, Mark?
That was my honorable mention.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Number 2 for you, Mark. What you got?
Well, it was one movie, but I think in a last-minute substitution, I'm going to put Dumb and Dumber at number 2.
Oh.
Because now that I really think about it, like I quote Dumb and Dumber a lot. And I think about it, I was like, no, that's probably one of the most memorable movies that he's done is Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
So, and again, it's classic slapstick Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. They work so well together.
They were perfect for each other.
Yeah.
What got bounced because of that change? Just curious.
Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Oh, okay. Surprised Ronnie didn't boo you.
Nah, he just added Dumb and Dumber, and I can't get on him.
Can't fault him for that. Nice. Patrick, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Dumb and Dumber.
Not Dumb and Dumberer.
Oh my gosh, Dumb and Dumberer is awful.
It's terrible.
However,
that's the one with
the
poop scene, right? I think you sent that to us last
Bob
year.
Saget. Yeah.
Yes, that is the worst scene.
There's poop everywhere. But no, Dumb and Dumberer, the prequel, was bad. But there was one thing that I say in that from that movie is when they talk about instead of dollars, they say doll hairs. It's like, I thought you said 5 doll hairs. I mean, that's from Dumb and Dumberer, and I don't know if you know that or not, or if it's somewhere else. I don't know, but I still say that. So when Mark, you say, you know how a movie's good when you quote it. Not this one.
Fair enough. Ronnie, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Oh, right. You already said
one.
that. Yeah.
I already pretty much
the classic.
threw out my list.
He threw it out. Just like, you know what?
Just get out of here.
Get out of here, you. Yeah, that one was special. And
do not
go in there. Woo! Woo! And then, of course, the infamous scene of when he discovers he's been kissing a man. And
Finkel is Einhorn.
Puts a plunger on his face.
Yeah, of course that works.
That's gonna do
better.
it. That's been covered in feces. Let's put that on our face. That's better than a man's lips.
If I remember correctly, Culture Club's "Do You Really Want to Hurt Me" is in the background.
Yes.
No, isn't it? I'm no woman. Isn't that what's on?
I can't
remember the
that
words of the
later-
song, but I can
or is
like
that
hear
later
the
in the
song
movie?
my head. No, it was.
I
that.
can't remember.
I do remember watching. I remember watching that on Laserdisc back in the day, and I remember watching it with my dad. And the part.
How old are you?
I'm older than you.
Because I remember watching it on
8-track.
VHS.
Oh, come on. VHS. I watched all kinds of movies on VHS. But when he reveals that Einhorn is Finkel and Finkel is Einhorn, he turns her around, and you see the junk in the trunk. And my dad like covered his eyes. He was just like, "Oh no!" He didn't see that coming, and he just like, I thought he was going to throw up. It was funny.
That's why he's dead. He found Captain Winky. No, but it's hilarious. He realizes that Finkel is Einhorn because his dog lays on Finkel's face.
Right.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's it.
That's how we figured it out.
Finkel
All
is
right.
Einhorn.
Why that leaves number 1, which I think Ronnie, again, you had already shared that.
Yep.
Dumb and Dumber. Good work.
Yeah.
Patrick, what is your number 1?
I think I might have spoiled it when Chris was on, but it's Ace Ventura.
You did, but you'd said it before. You had said it when we talked about movies before, but it's been a while. Good old Ace Ventura.
Gosh, it's from the beginning to the movie to the end of the movie. It's like it's one of those movies where those movies that you see over the course of your years, and you're able to quote it from pretty much beginning to end.
Yeah.
This is that type of movie for me. And I know Chris was talking last week about Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and how it's Jim Carrey. There's no goofiness. It's him. And in Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, there's only one part, and he says 2 words, and it sounds like he's not Ace Ventura, his entire character. It's when he's trying to find the receipts or something, like where he's at the Miami Dolphins place, and he's there with Courtney Cox's character, and he just looks at her and he's like, Melissa, and that's basically it. Everything else is Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura, yeah.
Ace Ventura, Oh man. Well, why don't you cry about it? Saddlebags, Oh gosh, everything about it.
I totally forgot
hilarious.
Courtney Cox was in that. I haven't watched that movie in years, but I will say that movie single-handedly ruined the Jungle Lion song for me for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Away on my way.
It totally, just ruined my innocence when I hear that song. So,
Isn't that in Lion King?
yes, it is. It is in Lion King. It is in Lion King for sure.
Oh man, yeah, Ace Ventura. Oh, everything about it.
Good stuff. Mark, you're number 1.
My number 1 is The Mask.
The Mask. The Mark.
I always loved the whole dual identity idea of Stanley Ipkiss is this boring bank teller guy, and he's basically got this dead end life, and all of a sudden he finds this mystical, powerful mask that basically allows him to put himself out there as this crazy character and has this dual identity, and he gets the girl and all this kind of stuff, and a lot of the comic book elements of it, I always enjoyed it, so it's definitely my number 1.
Very nice.
Nice. Yep.
Nice. Yeah.
Classic. Good stuff.
Somebody stop me.
My number 1 has already been mentioned, but it is Bruce Almighty. Love it.
Knew it.
Nice.
Again, like I said, my top 3, they have a moral to the story and hit me. This movie, outside of the humor, and like there's so many good things about it. You've already brought it up. Morgan Freeman, he is God. Like, not in an idolatrous sort of way, but like, I don't want anybody else to play God in a movie ever again. Just Morgan Freeman.
He nailed that.
Like, anybody else that tries to be God, it's like, you're not God. You're fake. You're sitting on a throne. You're sitting on a cloud of lies. Yeah.
Sitting on a throne of lies.
Exactly. Morgan Freeman's a great like, and just he just does a good God. It sounds weird to say, but he's so good.
Yeah.
But it's the end of the movie that really just surprised me because, as much as it's a slapstick movie and all the crazy stuff that happens and him acting, just going out of his mind, at the end of the movie when he's like given up, he's walking in the rain and he's just like, I can't do this. And he's like, God, I give myself to you. I give everything to you. I can't do this. And then he gets hit by, a truck, and he's all of a sudden in heaven. And he's like, what happened? He's like, God's like, you can't kneel in front of a truck and live to tell the tale. Like, what do you expect? But like, that is like a movie that I could show that scene as a illustration in a sermon, like at a church, and just be like, this gives you a glimpse of what in part Christianity is about and following God is about. It's about giving of yourself and loving others and not trying to do it all perfectly and follow all the commands and all that jazz. It's about trusting in God and giving your life to him. And that movie hit me so hard the first time. I mean, I'm pretty sure either the first time or the second time I watched it, I didn't like bawl like a baby, but I cried. I teared up, and I was like, that's what it's all about. And the fact that came from a Jim Carrey movie and just a comedy about a guy trying to be God, like that, and that's for that reason that shot that movie up to number one for me, because of the message behind it. So
yeah,
that's my number one.
Nice.
It was good.
Yeah,
good message.
Good stuff. Did you guys have any other honorable mentions?
I did.
Throw them out, man. Now's the time.
I had one. It was the Yes Man.
Me too. That was my honorable mention.
It's basically Liar Liar.
It is.
Except he just has to say yes for everything.
Yeah, instead of he can't lie, he can't say no.
Yeah. I think it was Zoe Deschanel as the co-star. I think it was good. It wasn't one of the one of his biggest movies, but I really enjoyed it.
For sure.
What did you like about it?
So for me, it was the same formula as Liar Liar. So to me, it was like a spiritual sequel. So I felt like it felt familiar. But I think it was just the again, it connects to, like with Liar Liar, I connected with the fact that, man, I wish I could just tell the truth sometimes. Not tell the truth like I'm a liar, but like be open and honest sometimes. And he got to live that out with Yes Man. Sure. It was more like it was a confirmation for me. I'm a yes man. Like I always want to be agreeable. I'll mix things up. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little more of a negative Nancy, or I act a little bit more like my dad, and I'm not as much of a yes man. But in my heart of hearts, I always want to make people happy and say yes. And just to kind of see like what he learned from that through the movie. Again, it's the moral of the story that I connected with and really enjoyed. I mean, in terms of the humor, like it's really dangerous to say yes to anything. Like there's some stuff that happens in that movie
yes to
that's just like crazy. But
his life was just so boring.
Oh yeah.
And then when he started to say yes to things, it just turned into like a good adventure. He spiced up his life a little bit.
Yeah.
And he actually had a life rather than just sitting on his couch watching TV.
Yeah, and there's something to it, to the fact that his life livened up, and it wasn't always directly because of what he said yes to. It was more like he said yes to something, which then led to something else, which then did something else. When you live your life just being like, no, I don't really want to do that. No, that's I've done that before. Like if you're constantly saying no to stuff, you're missing out. And I did like that message in it. And I think for me, the only reason it's an honorable mention, it didn't get a little higher, is there are some times when Jim Carrey or his characters that he plays, they just go too far. And
like his neighbor,
there was that the neighbor scene, and I was like, nope. I can't.
You can say no to that.
You can say no. The old lady purpling scene.
But
nope.
But he did say no, and then it ruined him.
Yeah, it's true. So that was that. Mark or Ronnie, you got an honorable mention or two?
Mine was actually The Grinch. So.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
There you go.
Nice. Yeah. So I have two honorable mentions. The first being, I mentioned earlier, The Truman Show.
Cool.
Love the story behind that and how well that was written and performed. Jim Carrey can do serious with like little snippets of comedy. He can be serious, and I think they nailed it right with the Truman Show. I loved the premise of that. Secondly, and we've been really focusing on his movies, but he's also had a presence on television.
Oh, yes.
And so
glad you brought that up.
Yeah, so do not undersell his time in Living Color. He did a fantastic job, and that was early Jim Carrey. He was fresh off a stand-up and got on in Living Color, and look up his Fire Marshal Bill stuff.
That was like one of my favorite impressions to do.
I still do that.
How you doing?
Let me show you something.
Still
How you
do
doing,
that to
something?
my kids, and they're like,
What are you doing, guys?
"Oh gosh, where's your put your lips back." Seriously.
What's wrong?
But look up his stuff on In Living Color. It's hilarious.
It is special.
So yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
All right. Well, I think that just about covers it. I do have to say I'm a little sad nobody mentioned one of his big recent hits, Dark Crimes, 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Of course it is. No one saw it.
I've never even heard of
I
it.
hadn't either till I saw it on Rotten Tomatoes. I did look up his, I wanted to see what his top and bottom movies were on Rotten Tomatoes.
What were his top and bottom?
So the bottom 3 movies, any guesses besides, obviously I already mentioned Dark Crimes.
Where did you see this?
This is Rotten Tomatoes.
IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes?
I did Rotten
Okay,
Tomatoes. So,
Dark Crimes.
Yep.
Number 23.
throw them out. No, 23 was not
wasn't. Okay, all right.
on the
Dumb and Dumber.
lows. He wasn't in that one, so
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber 2.
yeah,
yeah.
thankfully. No, I never. Did you guys see Dumb and Dumber 2? I never watched it.
I did.
missed it.
It's I mean, we were talking about it earlier where we're talking about Jim Carrey nostalgia. And if you didn't grow up like in Ace Ventura, then watching it now wouldn't be the same.
Right.
It's basically that. It's only for people who love Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
And even so, it's just a second-rate Dumb and Dumber movie.
Yeah.
Even though it has the same characters, it's good. I mean, I liked it, but as far as being in my top 5, no.
Yeah.
Maybe
Not
it may
happening.
have top my top 20 Jim Carrey movies. Yeah.
Yeah. The bottom.
I would say
Go ahead, Mark.
is his CGI A Christmas Carol? Was that one?
Nope.
Oh.
That one was that was in the middle, but that one wasn't.
Oh,
That was all right.
Once Bitten.
Yep. Once Bitten, 18%. I remember watching. I remember watching that bad boy when we got cable because that came out in '85. That was an early film of his,
Is it?
and I remember
Is
watching that.
Earth
baby.
Girls Are Easy on the bottom?
No, I forgot about that one. No, that one's not the. It's actually Fun with Dick and Jane.
Really?
28%.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It only had 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was very surprised. I enjoyed that one.
That's surprising.
But it is what it is. All right, top 3. Any guesses there?
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I
Yep.
bet that's number 1.
That's number 2 at 93%.
Oh, it's number 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
surprising.
Wow.
Where's the cable guy at on that?
Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, no one brought out the cable guy. That was a close
Chris
one.
Edgerly brought out the cable guy with us.
Yeah, he did.
Well,
he did bring it up.
It's funny you should mention that because we're going to bring it up in just a little bit.
Don't you want somebody to love?
Oh, right.
That's exactly why we're bringing it up.
It took me
Spoilers.
longer to get there than. Yeah, I actually didn't like the cable guy, so that's why I didn't bring it up. But such is life.
Sorry.
No, it's not on the. No,
Yep.
it's all good. It's not on the. It's not on the. I think it was in the middle somewhere. It wasn't in the top 3. It was Liar Liar at 81%, and number 1 was The Truman Show at 94%.
Okay. There you go.
So it's not surprising because it's based off of critics, and critics are like, this is more movie-ish, and so they probably saw Truman Show as Truman Show is more traditional. He acts like a normal human being for the most part in the movie, so
Gotcha.
it makes sense why it's up there. But yeah,
Yep.
so that is that. All right. Well, we have finished our jerry-rig jabber about Jim Carrey. I don't know what that means, but we finished it. If you would like to connect with us,
We're gonna go with
just gonna keep the ball rolling. If you'd like to connect with us beyond listening, remember to check out our Twitter handle at the GMG Podcast or Discord, where we have a link in our Twitter profile or the show notes. On Twitter, it is like Tahiti, a magical place where we're greeting one another every morning, afternoon, evening, or night, sharing dad jokes and talking about the latest and greatest in TV, video games, movies, etc., etc., etc. But it ain't for everyone, so if you're more old school like me, you can email us at thegoodmorningguys. Dang it, I keep saying at too emphatically. It makes me sound like I'm saying a handle. thegoodmorningguys@gmail.com. If you want to practice your radio voice, call us at 929-GMG-GUYS. Leave a message, ask a question, let your voice be heard. And of course, as always, what should be heard but none other than the GMG Music Playlist, brought to you by Marc Boucher and Barnaby Butterteeth on Spotify and Apple Music. What do you got for us, brother? A song from the Cable Guy, probably.
At
Spotify and at Apple Music.
Yes, of course. We have been talking about Jim Carrey movies and TV shows, and so obviously the songs that I have selected this week for the GMG Music Playlist on Spotify as well as Apple Music. Thank you, Bernabe. The first song that I am going to add is, of course, unfortunately, Spotify doesn't have the Jim Carrey version of it, which made me mad. But he actually, at a karaoke night in the movie The Cable Guy, he does a rendition of Jefferson Airplane's "Somebody to Love,"
Nice.
which is hilarious. But next best thing, the original version by Jefferson Airplane, "Somebody to Love." The second song I'm picking is his rendition of "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch."
Cool.
Yeah. And the third song I'm going to pick is one of the songs that was on the soundtrack for the movie Man on the Moon, which he was in. He played Andy Kaufman, and the name of the song is Man on the Moon
Nice.
by R.E.M.
Cool.
So those will be the three songs we're adding this week. So I hope they help you get your Jim Carrey nostalgia on, and they help you get your good morning on.
All right. Sweet. Well, thank you for those songs, Marcy B. Next week on the show, Ronnie, you're up. So whatever you want to talk about, man. You have you have less than 7 days. You have 5 days.
You have an entire Brazilian weekend to think about.
Well played.
I'm totally going to call Corey and get him back on. Baseball time.
Like, Corey, let's talk some baseball. Mark.
Mark is absent. I don't know where he is.
Where'd he go?
I'm going to go take a nap.
On the show. Alrighty then. Mark, Pat, and Ronnie, along with you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners, go get your good morning this week. And in case I don't see you, have a good afternoon, a good evening, and good night. And may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.
1, 2, 3, 4.